oh, oh, oh. Oh, ça c'est trop cool. C'est un détecteur de mouvement.
Allô?
Bonjour, Sydney.
Yeah, I have been over the years. There were certainly times in the past films where I would have a meeting with Kevin or with the other writers and express what I felt, where I felt she would be at that point in her life. On this one, Kevin was really open to sitting down with me and throwing ideas around. We spent almost every weekend together during the shoot, doing rewrites and massaging the characters a little bit. And, you know, I know her voice, as does Kevin. So together, I feel like we were able to get it. Yes, I know that. Often on the other films, they wouldn't allow the entire cast to know because they didn't want it to get out. Unless the person was actually going to play the killer at the end, they would be told. Not always right away, though, but I always knew. There was one or two films where there was conversation about it switching or like one character switch, but that was it. If it's gonna leak, we're always try to be as careful as possible about it. And in fact, on a few of the films, we had to release false scenes on the internet, sort of divert audiences or fans from thinking they knew what it was.
Ready, action!
There is one direction that was amazing. It was in the final sequence in the last few weeks. It took us like 2.5, 3 weeks to shoot the last sequence of the first film. And for me, keeping Sydney, her level of fear and energy at a certain level wasn't always easy. And Wes at one point came up to me and whispered in my ear, he just said, imagine you have 1,000 bullets ricocheting through your body, and then walked away. And it helped, the imagery helped me get to where I needed to be. So it's those little sort of gems that he would give us. But it was also just his leadership, I think. It really goes from the top down, the way that someone sets the tone on set. And he worked with such grace, but also had such a great sick sense of humor. And really enjoyed making horror movies that it really, the crew felt that, and their enthusiasm was there as well. Watch those. I've honestly, I think, only watched like 20 or 30 minutes of the first one, I think. But I know that people love them, and I think it's that thing of if people impersonate you, you must have done something right. You know, even if they're making fun of you, it's because it was enjoyed at some point by somebody.
It's a flattery.
Yeah, absolutely. So, no, I think it's great. And it's funny because Scream was meant to be called Scary Movie. I don't know if you know that, but it was the original title. But there had been some little indie way back that had that name. We weren't able to use it at the time.
Je veux être une guerrière comme toi.
Si tu lui fais du mal...
Je ne lui ferai pas de mal tant que tu ne seras pas là pour le voir.
Allons démasquer cet enfoiré.
Tous tes amis meurent. Juste parce qu'ils sont proches de toi.
I love it. It's crazy. You know, when we first made the film, I remember that we had a bonfire out in Santa Rosa, California one night, and we were talking, we were like, do you think, I mean, we had a sense the script was good, but we were like, do you think, like, this could be good enough that there'd be a costume? And we're like, no way. 30 years later, every Halloween I open my door and there's a Ghostface, which is so fun. It's really cool.
Not so much action figures for Sidney Prescott, though.
No, I don't think so. I don't think there is one.
Yeah.
Maybe one day.
Will you like to have one?
I love it. Why not?
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Tatom, écoute-moi.
Il essaie de trouver un autre moyen d'entrer. On va faire ça ensemble.
Tu dois lui tirer dessus à travers le mur. Où ça? À droite de la porte. Tire maintenant! Tire! Oh, tu l'as eu, c'est bien. Il est mort.
Il faut être sûr.
Tire-lui une balle dans la tête.
Je vais tout brûler.
Espèce d'en...
fun.